All right, folks, here we go. Week 13 in the NFL in Las Vegas. Brian Blessing, BangTheBook.com. Follow along on Twitter at BangTheBook. And, of course, the Sports Betting Podcast. Phenomenal, fantastic information for you each and every week here at BangTheBook.com. It is terrifying. Week 13. This football season goes by in a flash. Games in Week 1 mean as much as games do in Week 13. However, the reality of it is this is kind of a week you'll look back on when we get to the postseason and say this team got home field advantage or seized control of the division or earned a tiebreaker for home field advantage. These are monster football games coming up this week, and the importance and intensity of the games does seem to ratchet up. Week 13, here we go, lots of games. Detroit and Baltimore. Baltimore's a 3-point favorite on the opener, down to 2.5. The total from 40 up to 41. Baltimore got the win against Houston. That Texans defense is really good, and Savage couldn't get it done. They do have to go against Matt Stafford here. Last gasp effort for the Lions, but it seems like Detroit has put themselves in too big a hole to climb out of. San Francisco and Chicago. Chicago, 4-point favorite, total on the game, 39.5. It's been bet down to 3, and the total on the game is 40.5, as we're going to get to see Jimmy Garoppolo as the quarterback for the Niners, and that could be a spark for the San Francisco offense. We do see Chicago with these just crazy efforts. Great one week, horrific the next. So you don't know what you're going to get. But we'll be watching closely to see how Garoppolo plays, because he's going to get a balloon number to stay with the San Francisco team next year. But they do get a little jump start in the evaluation process for him. So it does bear watching. Minnesota and Atlanta. Atlanta, 3-point favorite. Total on the game is 47. Atlanta, desperate because basically New Orleans and Carolina keep rolling right along. However, one of them will lose this week because they're playing each other. But this Minnesota team, let's see if Keenum can get it done on the road. We do know Minnesota's defense is so much better at home than it is away from Minnesota. New England is at Buffalo. New England opened 9. It's down to 8. 49.5 down to 48.5. The Bills, you tell me how they walked into Arrowhead after 3 of the worst performances a pro team could put forth. They do get the win. In a weird way, the one thing I would throw caution at you is that Buffalo always plays New England tough. New England always wins the games, but the Bills cover on many occasions. Taylor entrenched as the quarterback right now, but it was Buffalo's defense that got things turned around at Kansas City last week. Denver, 1-point favorite on the road at Miami. Total on that game is 38.5. I'd look for a Booker to get the ball a lot more with the Broncos here. Miami, again, moving Ajayi out of there. Cutler got hurt. They could play a good football game every now and then, but they're very inconsistent. Houston's at Tennessee. Tennessee is 7. Total is 42 up to 43. The one thing with Houston, you always get a puncher's chance with that defense flying around trying to create turnovers. Indy and Jacksonville. Jacksonville is just such a confounding team to me. They're 8.5. Now they're up to 9.5. I don't understand why, to be honest with you. They never should have covered at Cleveland. They lose at Arizona against the backup quarterback. They're thoroughly undisciplined. Marrone makes some goofball decisions. I mean, yeah, it's a nice season for the Jags, but again, we're seeing this inflated number on these guys, and this is just uncharted water for them. Waiting on Tampa Bay, Green Bay, a number there. Whether Winston goes, which will be a massive upgrade from Ryan Fitzpatrick. Kansas City and the Jets. KC's 4.5 on the road. Now it's down to -3, -0.25, so probably 3.5 will be the closing number there. The total on the game is 44. Really wonder what Andy Reid's thinking here. At some point, might he go to the kid Mahomes? Kansas City is in free fall. Carolina, New Orleans. New Orleans a 4-point favorite. Total on the game is 48. I wonder if Peyton is going to unleash Drew Brees a little bit this week. I know they've got a really good running game with Kamara and Ingram, but it seems like New Orleans has been ultra conservative on offense, and it's paid them dividends, and it's been their defense. But don't lose sight of the fact you got Drew Brees, and they're laying 4 on the home. I think Brees could have a big game here. This could be an octane game here. Cam Newton could be running around like a reindeer as well. All right, then we get Cleveland at the Chargers. Chargers 13 up to 14. Current form, San Diego. Everybody does it, right? Everybody does it. I just did it. LA Chargers playing fantastic football at the moment. You think of the games they've given away, but they've got to go 4-1 bare minimum at the end of the year, and their schedule's pretty favorable. Total on that game, 42.5. The Rams on the road laying 6.5. It's a division game at Arizona. 45.5 down to 45. The Rams go from 6.5 through a key number up to 7.5. Now, everybody's in love with what they're seeing from the Rams. Now you're starting to see the adjustments from the odds makers, and you're getting an inflated number there. The Giants go with Geno Smith, and he makes his Giants debut on the road. No Eli Manning. It's going to be weird to see at Oakland. Cross-country travel as well. 7.5. That number's ballooned up to 9.5. Could be a tough spot there for the Giants. Philly at Seattle. This is in your wildest dreams. Do you ever think you'd see this one? The Philly from 3.5 up to 5.5 on the road at Seattle. You got the four-headed running back monster. Wentz is playing great. We've got a banged-up Seattle secondary. But you know what? Seattle catching that kind of number at home might be worth a peak. Total on the game is 47.5. And that's the high-profile Sunday night game. And wrap it up with Monday night. Pittsburgh laying 6 at Cincinnati. It went down to 5.5. The total on the game is 43.5. Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown are just remarkable week in, week out. And you've got Bell and the weapons. See if they get Juju Smith-Schuster back in the lineup. Pittsburgh in the catbird seat as the playoffs are right around the corner. Always trying to keep tabs on these numbers for you. Glad to do it from Las Vegas. I'm Brian Blessing. Always thrilled to be with you right here at BangTheBook.com.